Hi guys. So today we're just going to talk about repurposing content. Um, just because this month is already looking really, really busy for me. So just thought what I'm going to do this month is not going to create any brand new content. I've got projects on the boil. I've got launches coming up. I've got conferences. I just don't have the time or the headspace, quite frankly, to worry about creating brand new content. And I get that for micro and small businesses, creating new content all the time is hard. Okay, it's expensive. Whether you do it yourself or you hire someone to help you, it can be expensive. Um, your time is worth money as well. So what I want you to do is I want you to get more bang for your buck. I want you to get better reach with the content that you've already created. And I want you to take this next month when you do create some new content and use the same process to spread it wider and get more for your money, so to speak. So there's a few different ways that you can repurpose content so that you can get it out on different platforms and get better traffic through to your website and better engagement on social, all of that sort of stuff with the same content. Okay. So the first one that I'm going to take you through is essentially just rejigging. Okay. So you can see I've got, this is my website. So down the bottom, towards the bottom. Yep. So the latest from my wordy world. So I've got, and I've been blogging, not super regularly, but regularly since I started. So I've got a few years worth of blogs sitting on here. Tips, tricks, insights, updates, opinions, of course. So what I can do is I can take some of my old content and rejig it, perhaps bring it more up to date. So one that I still get heaps and heaps of traction on is there's a blog post about Facebook competition rules, and it's a little out of date. So what I can do this month, and it will take me next to no time at all, is I can grab that blog post and I can do a little bit of research up to date, get everything up to date. So on the new legislation surrounding competition rules and things like that. Check to see if Facebook links, all my links are still happening, that Facebook hasn't changed any of their policies surrounding competitions. And then I can relaunch that. So I'm not having to start from scratch. I can just rejig it up a little bit and then reshare it. So put it back out into the world in lots of different places so that it can, it's essentially new, but I don't have to start from scratch. The second way that we can repurpose content is to go back through our old content, and again, we're rejigging, but we're rejigging it to make it evergreen. Okay, so evergreen content is essentially content that won't ever die. It doesn't have a shelf life. It's not going to become obsolete or out of date really quickly. So things like, social media images, 2018 cheat sheet. Well, obviously, we're 2019 already, so potentially that's already out of date. That is not evergreen content. Same with does size really matter? This is best practice for length of blog posts. Now, okay, it's not particularly evergreen, but what I can do is I can go through my old posts and find something that perhaps was current and make it evergreen. Okay, evergreen stuff is also really, really good for SEO. So remember, SEO, we're now wanting to answer those questions. Okay, it's not all about those particular keywords, and certainly not keyword stuffing, but it's more about answering questions. And so if you keep that in mind as well when you're rejigging and you're recreating to be evergreen, think about answering those questions that people are searching for. Okay, as opposed to just, even conceptual long tail keywords. Let's focus more on answering the questions. There's some great software, some great online apps where you can put in your industry, your keywords, that sort of stuff, and it will give you a whole host of ideas of the questions that people are asking surrounding what you do. And I did one with one of my coaching clients the other day, and we put in what she does, and it came up with all these fantastic questions that people are asking. So now she's able to build her content specifically to answer those questions and to be evergreen. Okay. So now the third way that you can repurpose content is a little bit cheaty, but as long as you do it in the correct way, there's absolutely no problem with this. And this is a fantastic time saver. It's a fantastic way to show that you are on top of your industry and what's going on. You've got your finger on the pulse, so to speak. And that is to curate content. Okay. So for an example, I flicked off a news article link to, it's not even a client, just someone I know, who I'm a huge fan of her work. And it was specifically, just come up in my newsfeed, and it's specifically related to her industry. So there were two reasons that I sent it to her. Is I thought it was a fantastic conversation starter that she can use to leverage her experience and her expertise, but also to, I'm a big one for, forewarned is forearmed. And this particular news article has the potential to create some backlash, some questions within the industry. And that has the potential to affect her business. So I sent it off to her. And what I would love to see her do with that is to use that content and repurpose it. Now, there's lots of little different tricky ways that you can do that. But the main thing is, what I would suggest is if you've got a great article that is very, very valuable to what you do, it's aligned with what you do, it's valuable to your readers, it's suited for your target audience, grab that article, okay? Open up your WordPress or, your Word doc or your Google doc or however it is that you create your blogs. Do an introduction, okay? Make a great headline. Write a great introduction, okay? Introducing the content that you've curated, and why you've chosen to share that. Dump that curated content, that news article, that case study, that infographic, whatever it is, dump that into your blog, okay? But then the conclusion of your post should then be your take on it, okay? Whether you agree or disagree, remembering to always be respectful and, of course, never defaming anybody, but give your insight into it. It's going to add some value, and it's not just going to be, oh, look, she was being a bit lazy and was just sharing other people's work. This can be complimentary if you've got people in your industry that you want to collaborate with. Again, we're huge on collaboration, not competition. So write that conclusion, share your point of view about it, and always, always, always then give accreditation. Okay, link back to their website, make sure that, people don't assume that they're your words, because they're not. But so you're only really having to write essentially 2 paragraphs and a headline. Really great time saver. I mean, you can do that while, you're waiting to pick the kids up from school, or, you're on the bus commuting, or, waiting for a client to rock up to a meeting, in bed while you're, watching free to air and the bloody ads are on. You can get this done really quite quickly. And you've shared some awesome content. This is not something that you want to do all the time, okay? Because people are going to start kind of, even though you've added your insight, they're going to think you're not necessarily lazy, but, who are you? What is your point of view exactly? And then the fourth way to repurpose content, which is actually the big one that I wanted to talk to you about today, is to essentially take your own content. We're going to slice it and dice it. We're going to share it around, and we're going to pop it on a lot of different formats. Okay. The biggest issue I see a lot of people struggle with, and that I come across when I'm coaching, is people think that they need to create brand spanking, fantastic, innovative content, unique content for every single platform on which they are found. And that's total bullshit. And if you're working with a copywriter, a content manager, a social media manager, anybody who says that that's what you should be doing, no. Okay. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. Okay. The much more efficient and effective way of doing this is you create an awesome piece of content, and this is going to take you a little bit of time, but again, we can grab one that we've already done, or, you know, if you're like me, I have a folder in my Google Drive, in my blog posts, with all these kind of half-done ones. You know, I've had this great idea and I've started, and then I've got sidetracked with a client project or something like that, or something else has sparked my interest that I've kind of lost motivation with that. Grab something like that, finish it off, okay? Can be an article, can be a case study, can be anything, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take that piece of content, okay? And then we're going to slice and dice it, okay? We are going to turn that, we'll say blog post, right? We're going to turn that blog post into little snippets, okay? We're going to turn that in, we're going to pull out of that any specific stats or quotes or quirky facts, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to turn those into social media posts. So they will go out via our LinkedIn, our Facebook, Instagram, whatever platforms it is that you use to reach your people. And you can then obviously lead it all back to the full article, which will get traffic to your website, which will then hopefully lead to, you know, conversions, okay? We need to make sure that our blog post is shared around correctly, okay? So I find a lot of people that, you know, I'm doing blog posts, and that's great. They have a blog post and it goes up on their website, and that's great. Unless you've got this huge organic traffic that's checking back in with you all the time, no one is going to see that. So you put it on your website, share it out through your social media, share it on Facebook groups if that's allowed. Read their rules first. If you've got one that you're really, really proud of and that you really think is going to resonate with people, send that out to people. You know, send that to, you know, people within your industry that you think might be willing to share it, and ask them to. You know, send it out to, again, complimentary, you know, people. You know, this one on Dear Photographers that I wrote, you know, that was on my website. I shared that out via my social media platforms. But at the same time, I shared it in groups where they are photographers, okay? So because it's perfect for them, and I don't want them to miss it just because they're not going to my website, or they're perhaps not following or not getting exposed to the post from my Facebook business page. So we're going to put it on, and then we're going to take that same piece of content, right? So we've got this content, we've shared it out. Don't have to do it all at the same time. This is the whole beauty of it. You can stagger this, schedule it, or stagger it out, make yourself a note throughout the month, the whole month, right? So you've got all this content going out at different times, but it's the same content. Shh. Okay, then, right, so we're sharing it around, then we're pulling out some stats, some quotes, some juicy little bits. We're turning those into social media posts. You can jump on Canva. It's free. It's too easy to use. Create some great little graphics. Obviously, make sure that your branding is consistent, and share them out, okay? See how much extra bang for buck we're getting from this one blog post. And then we need to look at different formats. Okay, so we're going to take our blog post and we are going to take some stats from it, something like that, and we're going to turn it into an infographic. Okay, let me just see if this one, okay, see, like, look at that. Okay, so now I could, and the reverse is possible too. Like, this is just a cheat sheet that I did because, quite frankly, I was getting pissed off with people asking me this crap all the time. So it's all in one place. It is a cheat sheet. It's all right there for you, okay? And it's in this lovely little infographic, right? It's cute, right? So what I can do with this is then I can actually write this into a proper long form blog post. I can pull out the best practice for Twitter images, and that's a post. Okay. Now, what I can also do is to take this information and I can read it out to you and create a video with it. So I've got a different format. So I'm getting those people then that had the time to read my blog post. I'm capturing those people who just like to scroll through a pretty little infographic, right? I'm getting those people who want to sit on the bus or at the gym and listen to that content. And then, like I said, I can grab these little bits and pop them out on social media. So again, like little tips of the day type thing. I mean, this is enough. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8. Like right there, that is at least 8 different social media posts that I can put out across my social media this month. And that's just from one post that I've already, one piece of content that I've already created. So I think what I want you to think about is making it, your content, go further and work harder for you. It takes, you know, even if you're hiring someone, it takes time and it takes effort to, you know, go through the approval process or the brainstorming process or, you know, whatever it is to make sure that you've got content going out there. You need to make that work for you. And again, it's just a little bit of a hack that's just going to make things that little bit more efficient for you. And if you've got someone on your team that can take this and that can be part of their job, all the better. I've got someone up in the Northern Territory who bought my bundle, my courses, and is with a view to be able to, for her to be able to create her own content for the business, for his business. And I think that's fantastic because, again, I'm all about teaching you to do this yourself. So I would love to see somebody like her, like get the basics of content down and then to be able to do this so that she can create more value for pieces of content that she's creating. Content is not just blogs, it's not just articles, it's not just case studies. There's so much more that you can do with that one piece of content. So we are going to get our posts and we're going to slice them and dice them. Right? We're going to make more. Okay, so essentially think about it. Can we use an example? Okay, making up a big cake batter. Okay, so you can make one big cake. That's great, right? But you could also take some of the batter and make cupcakes. Okay, you could take a plain cake batter and you could add some chocolate chips. Can you tell I'm hungry? I haven't had breakfast yet. But you could add some chopped chips and then you've got a bit of variety there, okay? You can take some food dye and you can turn some, I don't know, pink, right? You can put sprinkles on half of them, okay? And that's how, when you think about it, just to take that same content, that same cake batter, and just jig it up a bit and make a few different things and share it around. Create different formats of it. Okay, you could use some cake batter to make, what is that my daughter used to make? Microwave, like mug, in a mug, right? A couple of minutes in the microwave, a mug cake as opposed to popping it in the oven, you know? We are going to leverage curated content, okay? Again, making sure that it's in line with our values, with our mission. It's going to provide value for our people, okay? And we're going to make sure that we attribute where it came from. Okay, that's only the nice thing to do. We are going to grab some old blogs and we are going to rejig them. We're going to update anything that is, oh my God, sorry, that's my dog joking. We're going to make sure that the information is up to date and then we're going to reshare it, okay? We're going to take some of our stuff that's perhaps a little old or perhaps a little obsolete, and we're going to make it evergreen. We're going to make sure that when we come back in 3 months' time, in 6 months' time, in 12 months' time, that information is still relevant. Okay, and of course, you know, we none of us know exactly what's going to happen, but you know, there's, with like photographers, there's kind of a stock standard kind of, few things about, what sort of clothing you would wear to do portrait shots and things like that that are not likely to change. You're a building consultant. Well, you're always going to have to abide by, building standards. I'm just like kind of going through lists in my head. There's always going to be, if you're involved in roofing, there's always going to be compliance issues. That sort of stuff's not going to change. Perhaps the version of the compliance will, but not that you actually have to be compliant. Okay. Now, the other thing of why we're going to repurpose our content and why we reshare stuff is because we want to leverage content that was already popular. Okay. So I perhaps wouldn't do it quite yet. So does size really matter? It's not that old. Actually, see, look, it's only from January of this year, so it's only a couple of months old. But this one, actually, and look at that, see, there's also a video. You can listen, or you can read it, right? Okay, so this article, Grace, this article crashed my website, okay? And I know that that's from the headline, and I know that's from the kind of tongue-in-cheek image that I selected to go with it, but whatever, right? So that was really popular, and it also did lead to inquiries that led to conversions, as in paying clients. So I'll probably, 3 months time, I'm going to pop this one on my list, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to make sure, again, is it still current? And I'm going to share it again. Like, we shouldn't be trying to recreate the wheel every single time we do something. That's crazy. That's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to take something that obviously people already liked, and I'm going to share it. And hopefully more people will see it, or people who saw it the first time round are going to go, oh, hey, I remember that image. I remember that article. I remember that girl knows what the crap she's talking about. Okay. So that's a couple of months off, but I can go back through one from the end of last year, sort of middle of last year perhaps, and do the same thing. I can reshare stuff that was popular, okay? And you can do the same on your social media as well. So if there was something there that was really, really popular, again, quick check, is it still current? And send it out. Don't do, last night, and I screenshot this, I'm going to share it later. If you're going to reshare social stuff, if you're going to reshare content, again, please, please, please do check your content to make sure that it doesn't, like, that it works now, okay? So this last night I'm scrolling through Facebook, as you do, and there was a sponsored ad for a company, and it was blankets. Very exciting. But it had, along the lines of, in the headline and in the caption was, wouldn't this make a great Valentine's Day gift? Okay. Scared me for a second, because this year's going so fast, and I was like, what the hell? Like, it confused me. Valentine's Day is February 14. We all know that, because it's like bloody straight after Christmas and New Year and the kids back at school, and it's just like the next commercial kind of one that comes up. How's that for cynical? And it threw me for a second, and then well, maybe it's just me, I got a little pissed off, because it was like, you didn't even have the respect for your readers to go and make sure that your content was up to date before you hit, go again, essentially, on your Facebook advertising. So please just take that time. Okay, scroll through, make sure that it still works. If I had put anything in this January post about, the new year, starting off afresh, and I do that sometimes with the content that I'm not terribly worried about it being evergreen, and I want it to be timely. But before I share this again, I will quickly have a scroll through and make sure that there's nothing there that's about, starting the year off right, or for the new year, or perhaps even specifically 2019, before I share it again. Okay, just to make sure that it's still relevant. Okay, and we are at time. And my dog has eaten a lot of treats to keep her quiet, which is very rude. Okay, so now I keep an eye out, because this weekend I am heading off to Melbourne, and before I leave, I'm going to throw up a special for my bundle courses, which is going to include buyer personas, creating your tone of voice document, and creating content. Okay, so you're going to get 3 of those plus some bonus stuff that I'll email you later because I love you. But also too, I've only got 3 more positions for coaching clients for now, for the next 6 months. Woohoo! So if you're wanting to do that, I will share the link. You can jump on and get that sorted. And essentially, you get to deal with me. You get to hang out with me every month. You will be creating your own content, but you will be learning as you go, and you will be getting that professional help assistance with your copy editing, your proofreading, your SEO, layout, formatting, all those juicy tips and tricks, plus brainstorming. Get to brainstorm what would really work to help leverage your content. So like I said, I've only got 3 of those left for the next, otherwise that part is solidly booked for 3 months. What else is happening? Oh my gosh. I know, Grace, there's lots happening and I can't remember. Okay. Oh, there's going to be, oh, this is exciting. Going to be a writing weekend, right? So you will get to spend 2 days with me and we're going to eat, because I'm a huge grazer. So we're going to have grazing platters and all that kind of like lovely stuff. We're going to learn how to write website content, and then you're going to write it with professional assistance. So you will leave after 2 days with all of your website content SEO optimized, written for the user experience. I'm going to turn you all into SEO and UX copywriters. You are going to have your website content and a landing page, the content all ready to be put up live and to be published, right? So rather than dicking around for weeks and months and it getting pushed to the bottom of the to-do list all the time, it happens. You are going to get your content sorted in 2 days, but not by yourself, but you're going to write it, okay? You're going to learn how to do it. I'm going to show you how, not easy, but once you've got a structure, things are easier, right? You know, making a frittata, as long as you've got a recipe to follow, it's simple, easy. If you had to stand there and go, what the hell goes in this? Okay, eggs, what else? I'm stuck. So that's coming up. I haven't launched it yet because I'm waiting for the venue to confirm. But that is going to happen really soon. And then, yep, there's the courses always there if you need them. Coaching, 3 spaces left. That gives you unlimited email access to me and hours each month where we will jump on a call like this and have a chat, and I can answer all your questions, provide you direction. And that's a limited 6 months. And then after that time, you know, spread your wings and go, and you'll be fine. Okay, I'm out of here. I'm going to pop this recording up somewhere else if I lost you during or if you couldn't make it. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to talk your ear off about next month. Okay, bye guys.